Aaron Dillon here, Managing Director of AG Dillon & Co. Here is the March 21, 2025 pre-IPO stock secondary market update. Wiz, a cybersecurity technology company, announced that it has signed a definitive agreement to be acquired by Google for $32 billion in an all-cash deal, including $1 billion in retention bonuses for Wiz's 1,700 employees. That's an average of $588,000 each for each employee. Founded in 2020, Wiz rapidly scaled to $100 million in annual recurring revenue within 18 months and is currently at $700 million in ARR, projected to hit $1 billion later this year. Last year, Wiz rejected a $23 billion offer from Google and considered an IPO at a $12 billion valuation before returning to the negotiating table. The deal will allow Wiz to remain independent and continue working across AWS, Azure, and Oracle Cloud, while benefiting from Google Cloud's infrastructure and AI expertise. Google previously acquired Mandiant for $5.5 billion in 2022 and Motorola for $12.5 billion in 2011. The deal is expected to close in 2026. Wiz's large investors include Index Ventures, Sequoia Capital, and Insight Partners. So congrats to those guys and the company, of course. CoreWeave, the AI-focused data center cloud provider, is preparing for an IPO that could value the company at $30 billion at the midpoint, based on 583 million in fully diluted shares and a share price range of $47 to $55 per share. That's down from the prior announced $35 billion valuation disclosed last week. The company offering could raise up to $2.7 billion, adding to the company's $1.4 billion in cash and $4.4 billion in available debt credit line. CoreWeave generated $1.92 billion in revenue in 2024. That's up 700%, with 62% coming from Microsoft. Revised projections for 2025 now estimate $4.6 billion in revenue and $15 billion in cash burn, over 3x the previous estimate of $4 billion. A new $11.9 billion contract with OpenAI starting in October is expected to drive future growth. It's a heavy capital-intensive business. Revenue is forecast to reach $10.8 billion by 2026. CoreWeave operates 32 data centers with over 250,000 Nvidia GPUs and plans to meet future demand with Nvidia's Blackwell GPUs. CEO Michael Intrator, will hold 37% voting power post-IPO. The company's net debt is 5.5x its EBITDA, and it has $15 billion in lease obligations. Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, and Goldman Sachs are leading the offering, expected to be one of the largest tech IPOs in recent years. CoreWeave's largest investors include Magnetar Capital, Fidelity, Coatue, and Nvidia. X, the social media company, raised nearly $1 billion in new equity, valuing the company at $32 billion on an equity basis and $44 billion on an enterprise basis, the same value as Elon Musk's original $44 billion $44 billion buyout in 2022, which included $12.5 billion in debt. Investors include Darsana Capital Partners and 1789 Capital. X generated $1.2 billion in adjusted EBITDA in 2024, roughly flat from its pre-takeover levels despite declining revenue. Fidelity has marked down its X stake by 68% as of January. I expect Fidelity's mark to increase now that this new round has been closed. 7 banks, including Morgan Stanley and Bank of America, have sold off nearly all of the $12.5 billion in debt that Musk used to finance the buyout. X owns 25% of Musk's SAI, which currently raising at a $75 billion valuation, provided lenders with new security. Perplexity AI, the AI-driven search company, is in early talks, to raise between $500 million and $1 billion at a post-money valuation of $18 billion. That's double its $9 billion valuation in December 2024 and 6 times its $3 billion valuation in June of 2024. Founded in 2022, Perplexity has over 15 million active users as of March and generates nearly $100 million in annual recurring revenue. The company previously tripled its valuation twice in 2023, reflecting strong investor interest in AI. Backers include SoftBank's Vision Fund 2, Nvidia, and Jeff Bezos. Perplexity competes with Google, OpenAI, and Anthropic in the AI search market. XAI, the AI large language module business, has joined the AI infrastructure partnership alongside Microsoft, BlackRock, NGX, which is Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund, and Nvidia to raise $100 billion in develop AI-focused data centers and power plants. The partnership initially planned to raise $30 billion, but now aims for $100 billion including debt. MGX is also involved in Stargate, which is a joint venture with OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, which could require hundreds of billions of dollars to develop AI data centers in the U.S. The partnership will will support a broad range of partners on a non-exclusive basis, meaning that XAI and other AI developers could use the infrastructure. Stargate, which is OpenAI's project, seems to be OpenAI only, perhaps. The focus will primarily be on the U.S., despite earlier plans for global expansion. Kraken, the crypto exchange, has agreed to acquire NinjaTrader. It's a U.S. futures trading platform with 1.9 million users for $1.5 billion to expand into crypto futures and derivatives in the U.S. NinjaTrader is registered as a futures commission merchant with the Commodities Future Trading and Commission, that's the CFTC. Kraken, founded in 2011, generated $1.5 billion in revenue last year and is planning a potential IPO. The acquisition will also support Kraken's expansion into stock trading and payments after securing a broker-dealer license from the SEC last year. NinjaTrader is a majority backed by Long Ridge Equity Partners. Kraken has a $6 billion secondary market valuation. Its last round was in March of 2021, but the valuation was not disclosed. Klarna, the consumer credit and payments company, announced a partnership with DoorDash, marking DoorDash's first buy now, pay later alliance in the U.S. Klarna users can now pay for DoorDash orders in full, split payments into 4 interest-free installments, or align with payday schedules, which is a little odd that you would finance food, but I guess maybe not so different as a credit card. Klarna filed its IPO prospectus last week to list on the New York Stock Exchange after generating $2.8 billion in revenue last year. That's up 24% year over year, and posting an adjusted operating profit of $181 million, reversing a $49 million loss. Klarna has 675,000 merchant partners across 26 countries and will also be the exclusive buy now, pay later provider for OnePay, which is Walmart's fintech arm. They just announced that last week, so on a tear here right before the IPO. Klarna has a $10.4 billion secondary market valuation. It's up 56% from its July 2022 round. The pending IPO is rumored to price at $15 billion. Ualá, the Latin American fintech company, raised an additional $66 million in a second close of its Series E round, bringing the total to $366 million and valuing the company at a $2.75 billion valuation, making it one of the largest fintech rounds in Latin America in recent years. The second close included Univision, adding to the initial round led by Allianz X, Stone Ridge Holdings, Bill Ackman's Pershing Square Foundation, and billionaire Alan Howard. Ualá, founded in 2017 in Argentina, now serves 9 million clients across Latin America, including 6.5 million in Argentina, and is growing 15% per month in Colombia. That's a lot. The new funds will fuel growth in Mexico and expand Ualá's ecosystem of payments, credit, merchant acquiring, and investments. OpenAI, the AI large language model business, will house up to 400,000 Nvidia AI chips for its $100 billion Stargate infrastructure venture via its first data center complex in Abilene, Texas, making it one of the largest AI computing clusters globally. The site, with a capacity of 1.2 gigawatts of power, is set to be completed by mid-2026. OpenAI plans to use about a gigawatt of capacity, while Oracle takes the remaining, call it 0.2 gigawatts, which is interesting. My understanding was OpenAI was taking all of it, so I'll get into that more later. Construction began in June of 2023 and currently employs 2,000 workers with plans to scale up to 5,000. The complex will have 8 buildings, each capable of holding 50,000 NVIDIA GB200 chips. Stargate, announced by OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle at a White House event in January, aims to establish up to 10 sites across the U.S. Okay, that's it for this week. Thanks, and see you guys next week.